The story for Final Fantasy 15 is okay. It's alright for what it is. Like when you include all the DLC and whatnot, I guess you know a lot of people like it. That's cool. I think it's alright, but overall, it's still very disappointing because it could have been so much. It could have been like so much more. That's the sad thing about it. And it's so disappointing because it's like, and it's disappointing and upsetting because it's like it feels like so much of the story, excuse me, was already there. Like it literally feels like the writers and the Tabata and the writers. It feels like they were literally given the tools to write the story, but they were just like, nah, like, we'll do our own thing, which I just don't get. It's really weird because it's like a lot of people like to reference the older, like the older trailers and stuff like that in 2006, but it's like I feel like you didn't need to go back any further than like 2013, you know. And again, it's like I don't exactly know what goes on internally, so I could just be, talking out the side of my neck right now with this stuff. So I apologize if I am, you know. But it's like this is just I just want to talk about the story and the lore and all that stuff like that. I could be wrong about some things, production wise or whatever, but I just wanted to ramble on about it real quick. So the story is like, let me see. Wait, maybe I should talk about the lore first. What's the lore? I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but I guess I'll talk about the story first. The first thing I want to talk about with the story is why I think Kingsglaive is like so pointless. Like, what is the point of Kingsglaive? To be completely real, like, it's like again, this is one of those things I don't understand production wise, right? So it's like, did they just want to make a movie for money's sake, or was it necessity? But either way, it's like Kingsglaive is so pointless. It's like, and it's upsetting for me because it's like Kingsglaive is literally just like that part of the story where Noctis and company were supposed to be like you know um, in the city, fighting their way out the city and all that stuff. But it's like they decided to replace them with like the Kingsglaive and Kingsguard or whatever, and it's like there are things that happen in that movie that really upset me because it's like you could have had this happen with like the main characters, and it's like, well, like why wouldn't you do that? Like this dude, like Nick's Ulrich, Nick's is cool. Nick's is cool, right? Like, he's a cool dude, but it's like you just like he's just a replacement for Noctis, right? He's just a stand-in for Noctis, and it's like it's so apparent because there are even like little scenes in the movie that kind of like reflect stuff we see in like older trailers. Like where he's talking to Luna at the ball and whatnot, and whatnot. I guess, like, why would you do that? What else? It's like, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. It's like I'm trying to gather my thoughts. It's like you have it to where it's like I just don't understand. Like, why would you exclude such a something that could be so pivotal for the characters in the story? Like, why would you choose to not only make it a movie, which is like you got a movie and you got a game. It's like you decide to like have them like take them apart and make them different things, which is already weird. But in terms of the story, where it's like you decide to like take the characters, the main characters, out of their home, where all this stuff's starting to go down for some reason, and just make it all happen around these new characters that we never like gonna see again. And it's like why should we care? Like why should we care about these characters? We're never gonna see them again. It's like they barely even get a mention in the game. Like it's dumb. It's so dumb. And it's like when you get down to like there are some things in the movie that really upset me because it's like one of the biggest things in the movie that really gets to me is like the whole death of Regis and whatnot. Because you have it where and Tabata's like, oh, it's also it's a story about brotherhood and a story also about father and son, but like where's that? Where do you see that part at? The story of father and son. Like where is that in the story? That is nowhere in the story. Like we just get this like little cliche moment between Noctis and King Regis where he's like, oh, walk tall, my son, and it's like that's such an artificial cliche thing to say. Like why are you putting on this like regal front for your son? And this is probably like the last time you're gonna see him and all that. And it's like it's so ridiculous because it's like I'm gonna bring up the 2000s earlier trailers again. 2013. This is like for all the stuff I'm talking about. The 2013 trailer is pretty much the main basis of where I'm pulling a lot of the stuff I'm about to say from. Because I'm about to try and like maybe I'll try to do like a this like rewrite in my own head in this video or whatever. But it's like in the 2013 trailer, you have this one scene where you have a kid Noctis and King Regis sitting at the dinner table, right? And they're eating like some pea soup, some gourmet mess, and Noctis isn't feeling it, right? And he's like, I don't want to eat this. This is gross. And then his dad is like, you have to eat it, or they might send the chef away or whatever. And Noctis is still like, I don't want it. It's gross. And it's like then Regis is like, he does a scene where it's like he eats the soup and then he sticks his tongue out like, bleh, and then Noctis laughs, and then he eats it, right? And it's like a lot of people might have written that scene off, and I might be kind of like reaching, paying it a bit too much attention. But for me personally, that scene means a lot more than that crap. And like, I'm trying not to like be really disrespectful to Final Fantasy 15 or anything, because again, I said it's all right, but it's like that scene to me personally means like a lot more between like it says a lot more about their relationship than like that little moment in the game. It's like, oh, walk tall, my son, and all that mess. And it's like what was I about to say? Freaking. It's like in that moment, it's like Regis, it's like Regis knows, he understands. It's like he is a king, he is royalty, and so is Noctis. Noctis is royalty. They have to play the part. They have to have that regal air to them and whatnot. But then it's like he sees that his son isn't happy, and it's like in that moment, Regis like gets out of the mindset of I'm a king, and this is like my heir. This is the prince. He puts that whole like that aside to be like I'm a father, and this is my son, and he's not happy. That kind of comes first and foremost. So he's like, and I think there were even like other people in the room when they were eating, like standing on the wall, like just like waiting and watching and stuff. And then Regis, he puts away that whole like air of regalness to him, and he does the whole like bleh thing. It makes Noctis laugh, and like that's such a small thing, but that spoke so much more about their relationship than anything between them in Final Fantasy 15, which is so insane, which is so weird, because it's like in that moment it was nice because he put he's like, that's my son, it's my boy. He put him as his son before he put the whole royalty thing, which is it says a lot in my opinion. But then it's like and then another weird thing is like even outside of Final Fantasy 15, you have other material that says more about their relationship than freaking the game does. Because literally in Nier Automata, there's a freaking you can get Noctis's engine blade as a one of the secret weapons or whatever, and it's like all the weapons have like stories attached to them, and it's like there's this like little story for Noctis's engine blade that basically takes place like during when Noctis is a kid, and it basically talks about how they wish Noctis and Regis wish they had more time for each other, but the duty calls and whatnot. And like basically that little story has more about their relationship, but then again the whole Final Fantasy 15 does. Like it's insane. Uh, but yeah, other than that, it's like another part of this movie that really rubbed me the wrong way is like you have it to where King Regis dies in this movie, right? In King Clave, and it's like that's sad. That's sad and all, you know. But it's like the thing that really rubs me the wrong way is that you. It's like why would you make it to where it's like this nobody character. And like, no offense to anyone who likes Nyx. Like I said, he's cool, but it's like, be real. He's a nobody character. Like he doesn't add anything to the story. Like he's just there, and they don't even mention him. And it's like you have King Regis dies, and you have this, this pretty much a nobody character be the one to witness his death. And then he gets all emotional, like, and it's like, oh yeah, I care way more about his reaction than I would about the reaction of his own son. Like, oh yeah, that's very smart. Let's make it so this character who doesn't even barely get mentioned in the game witness Regis die as opposed to his own son. You know, which is like, it's so dumb because you have Noctis like, yeah, he has to figure out his dad died like over a phone call and that his kingdom has fallen in a newspaper, and it's like I guess some people can be like, oh well, that's that's more tragic, because like they weren't even there to even try. But to me, it's like, no, I feel like it would have been meant a lot more if they were actually there to try and fight and protect their kingdom, and then have to be forced to like leave and ran out of their home. Then it'd be like we weren't even there to try, and it's like and then it's like, all right, so it's like uh, trying to what else? Uh, some lore stuff, there's some lore stuff where it's like the Niflheim Empire and why they attacked. It's like why did they attack again? Because I cannot remember for the life of me. They attacked because like, correct me in the comments because I don't know. They attacked for like no reason. Like they were just like a stereotypical empire. That's basically all they were. And it's like it was like the emperor just wanted power or whatever. But in like I think in Versus 13, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the reason the Empire like invaded Insomnia was because all the other nations had crystals too. Like even if this isn't even like what it was back in the day, I feel like this is a much better like rewrite or purpose that they could have had, where it was like I think all the other nations in the world also had like crystals too. Besides just Insomnia, and it's like the crystals pretty much serve the purpose of like they basically sustained the country, right? And it's like then everyone else's crystals started to like die out, right? And it's like Insomnia was left as the only one who had like this crystal, and it's like it's also because like they had their crystal for so long that I think it was like that's why they're so advanced, as compared to like all the other nations. Because I think in like Final Fantasy 15, like when you went anywhere else, they weren't as like advanced. That's why Insomnia has like smartphones and cars and all that all this other stuff that and like that. I think that was the reason why like Luna or Stella at the time and Noctis probably couldn't call each other because they didn't have like that level of technology outside of Insomnia. That would have been a much better reason than like, oh, they send letters to each other and yada 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 because it's romantic. It's like you could have had an actual reason, like they can't call because they don't have that technology over there outside of Insomnia. But then it's like, yeah, that would have been a much better reason if like Niflheim attacked because and also it was like I think Niflheim is they put the last bit of power from their crystal into their military. They channeled that into their military force. That's why they are like the most advanced military wise. And so, yeah, like that's why they attacked Insomnia, because their nation's crystal was running out. You know, and like that's why they attacked Insomnia, because they were the last ones who had it. And then yeah, the whole they stabbed them in the back and just took their crystal. Because the emperor did it for his own nation. You know, what else? What else? What other comparison were there? I don't know. There was like a lot of other stuff that was removed or changed and altered and whatever. And it's like, mm, what else? Well, also there was some other elements that they freaking took out. Like, Noctis had the whole thing where it's like his eyes were supposed to see the light of expiring souls or something like that, whatever that meant. Um, what else? What else? Uh, there was this really cool concept where it was like there was the whole like theme where it was like what was the quote? It was like some Shakespeare, back in the day with verse 13. It was like, there is no good in evil, only our thinking makes it so, or something like that. And it was supposed to be like, the it was supposed to be like a gray. The story was meant to be kind of like gray, because it's like, insomnia, like we're supposed to be the good guys, but it's kind of like, um, it's like they're like a nation or a family of like death worshippers and stuff like that. Like the royal family or insomnia as a whole, they sort of like their religion like were based around like worshiping like Etro, the goddess of death. And I thought that was like really dope. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was like freaking awesome. And it was like, and it's like, they're supposed to be good guys, but they have this like thing going on with that. And I think it was like the royal family worked like a mafia too. I don't know if that meant like how they were like ordered, or in the sense of like they did like shady stuff, you know. And then their whole color and aesthetic is like black compared